Today we're going to be talking about how to pack the perfect Concours bag or detail bag to take to a car event. Why would you want to bother doing something like this? You just want to be prepared, not just bring a bottle of quick detail or glass cleaner or something like that. So let me just go through a few things. Now this is just a suggestion. You can add or subtract things as you go. But typically this is what I would take to a major Concours event. So there's a lot of stuff in here. So let's get started. The top here, this is kind of the fun stuff. Most important stuff that as we go along, we're going to see we have a tape. This can be used for a number of things. First and foremost, if you get a plaque or a card in the car and you need to stick it on the windshield or something like that, always good for that. But if you wrap this around your hand, it also makes a great duster. You can actually, as my friend used to call it, vacuum with tape. This, of course, is the greatest detailing tool known to man, the bamboo stick. And you already know what these are for, I hope. This little container here, which is something simple you can find for taking, it's usually used for pills or for travel purposes. But what I use it for is to hold on my little touch-up brushes. So I've got microfiber or the micro brushes in here and some makeup brushes that are really pointy. These are disposable ones that I get online, and you can get 200 for $5. I mean, it's just a great deal. And they stay pointy and you can get really sharp edges on them. To go with that, of course, touch-up paint. Depending on what kind of car we have, when I take a car to a major event, I always try to get the exact touch-up paint that the car was painted with. Along with that, I bring an extra phone cable and really a big kind of a selection of brushes. Something like this is just a general brush. These are great for doing inside wheels. Any of you who have BBS wheels, I'm sure you're familiar with this process. This is one of the ultimate dash brushes. So these are used for painting sashes. You can see it's triangular in shape. And what I do is I wrap gaffer tape around it so it doesn't scratch anything because there are metal ferrules on here. But something like this is the perfect brush for doing around vents, around switches. And it's amazing just driving someplace with the top down, you'll see how quickly it adds up and you get little crumbs and stuff in between things. This one's a little bit more hardcore, I guess you'd call it. It's a chopped down paintbrush. Fantastic for doing things like tire treads, if that is important to you. Wheel wells. A lot of wheel wells now are made of a felt material and they trap dirt. You could take something like this and just scrub it really fast and it comes clean very quickly. But more importantly is that this is a dollar chip brush with a little bit of masking or a little bit of electrical tape on it and chopped down with really just a pair of scissors. All important sunscreen, especially we just came back from the Amelia Island event and everybody had that. You may not think of this, but keeping something like this in your bag when you go 3, 4, 5 hours without even thinking about it, you haven't eaten yet, it's always a good idea to have something along for the ride. I carried just a couple of paper towels. And the only reason I carry these are for really big messes. So if you've got an oil leak or you want to check your oil, I use these and then simply throw them away. The moment you've all been waiting for, or at least David has been waiting for, the Sharpie pen. The reason you carry a Sharpie pen is if you have to write on something. A Sharpie pen is not used for touching up black things because a Sharpie pen is not black. So every time I hear, and which I've heard thousands of times, that, oh, I had a little spot on my black molding on my 911 and I went over with a Sharpie pen and marked it down. Well, you know what that looks like? It looks like Sharpie pen. Up top here, let's start here. I carry plastic gloves. Very important because if you're working and your wheels are dirty or something like that, you don't want to be walking around all day with brake dust on your hands. These are really handy. There's a straight edge razor blade in here in case you need to scrape off, which is fantastic, by the way, for scraping off heavy bug residue on your windshield. Just take that. If you're afraid of using sharp objects, use the plastic ones. These things are fantastic. They're also really good for scraping, again, bugs mostly, but any kind of residue, glue residue, that sort of thing, these things work great. Get a cheap screwdriver, double-ended. A lot of events will give you a license plate, or recently we just judged at a Ferrari show, and surprisingly, Ferrari is okay if you have a license plate frame, but if that license plate frame carries the name of a dealership on it, it's got to go. So make sure you're prepared with something like this. And again, you never know when you're going to need it. Maybe something's falling off your car if you have something French, and you'll end up needing a screwdriver. Plastic, great stuff. So if you have a convertible in particular, you live in Florida and you're about to have a big sun shower, throw this over your interior. Just make sure that you don't trap any moisture under it because you'll spend weeks trying to get the stains out of the paint. This is also great for laying down on if you want to clean something under the car or you're working under the car. And more importantly, you can help all your British car friends when they have a problem, and you can lend them this and you're a hero. Just like a regular Q-tip, but these large ones are great for doing between wheels. Any kind of vents, you know, anywhere you want. What I typically do with these is I put quick detailer on them. So I'll take a little bit of a quick, we'll get to those, what we're using, but we'll use a quick detailer on them and make them wet, and they're much more effective wet. So just a little side note, just a little spray on the top and gives a little dampness to it. That's all you really need. This is a windshield stick. That's what they call them. It's a windshield installation device, basically. These things are relatively inexpensive, but they're incredibly handy. And I always try to carry a couple of these no matter where I go, what I have, any of my tools, I always carry one of these. You can wrap towels around it. You can, just as an example, you know, we've got these little towels. So you can do something like this and get between things. They're great for prying. If you have something loose in the car that you need to pry off. They're also especially great for any kind of interior work. If you need to pull a vent out or pry a little cap off of something, perfect tool. So this little bag, and I always carry stuff like this in bags. And the same thing with the razor blades, because there's nothing worse than reaching into a bag and either gluing your hand to the bag or cutting your finger open with a razor blade. So keep these little plastic bags handy and put everything, those little things in them. So I carry this is a Scotch glue that I like. It's kind of like a CA glue, like a crazy glue kind of thing, but it's thicker and it's got a little bit more body to it. And really works well if you have something that falls off the car at the last minute. This is, to me, a semi-gloss black. So this is an acrylic touch-up paint that's made for models. They make these bottles empty, and this is what I was saying earlier. These empty bottles are great for putting your touch-up paint in, but when the semi-gloss black in particular matches all your trim on the outside much better than the Sharpie and dries in seconds, especially when you're outside. The ultimate cheat, though, with something like this is find the Tamiya flat paint that matches your interior color. And if you have a little scuff or a little scratch in your leather, it's a perfect touch-up. Just use one of your little micro brushes like this, spread a little bit on the scratch, and voila, you look like a hero. So we use several different, I use several different quick detailers. There's Speed Shine and Meguiar's Quick Detailer. You know, whatever preference you use, it doesn't really matter. These are great because what I do is I keep these in these bags. This is a 2-ounce sample of the new ceramic Speed Shine from Griots Garage, but these are infinitely refillable, carry-on friendly, it says on the side, which is cool. But, you know, just keep refilling these and keep them in your bag. This way, the other big bonus about having only a 2-ounce spray bottle, because you're only doing touch-up, that if this bottle happens to open up inside your bag, you only have 2 ounces of mess to clean up, as opposed to a 22 or 32-ounce bottle. So these are great. Just keep refilling them as you go along. Glass cleaner. The second most important tool in the box behind the Quick Detailer. Now, Quick Detailer can be used, or Speed Shine or any of those products can be used to clean glass, but nothing cleans glass better than glass cleaner. I personally like an aerosol glass cleaner. Most people like the pump style, but the aerosol is just friendly to me, and I despise doing glass. So I always find that this is the easiest thing for me to use, but again, it's all up to your own personal preference. With that though, this is a glass towel. So we're going to go over a couple different styles of towels that are in here, microfiber towels, and there's sort of a hierarchy to them. But these are made specifically for glass. So this particular product is just a tire rubber dressing. You only use it really for touch-up. This is the new Griots ceramic 3-in-1 wax. We're going to talk a little bit about ceramics at another time. But this is like their it's like their best in show spray wax, except on steroids. It has this incredible gloss like nothing else and can last up to a year. So we'll talk a little bit about how to do that. But what I really like about this product more than any is the fact that You spray it on once and the reflectivity is incredible. And the next time you go to clean your car, the water, or if it gets rained on, everything beads up beautifully. It looks really impressive, nothing else. But really a great new product and easy to use. The bottom, little bag of cotton swabs, not Q-tips. These are real cotton swabs that are mounted on bamboo sticks, a lot stronger than a Q-tip. You can simply buy the standard ones that you stick in your ear, but these will last longer and are much stronger for really dirty applications. All right, lastly, before we get into towels, a couple of things. I also carry, besides this, I carry little bottles of compound and polish. And you can simply use it by hand to take out any fine scratches or residue or whatever that doesn't come off easily. So I always carry, this is compound. And in today's world, I'm sure you already have this in your bag, but just in case, always throw one of these in there, hand sanitizer just in case. And I carry a flashlight. So whatever one you like, this is a simple LED flashlight. You know, these are available at all kinds of places. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about towels. But a little bit before we get into that, very important thing here, plastic bag. Always carry one of these for your towels. So once you've wiped the car down, you're going to find out that they're all covered in your favorite detailer. So throw all the dirty towels into that bag. It won't contaminate all the clean, fresh towels that you're going to use later on. These are the towels that I like to use for the outside of cars. These are the super fluffy ones from Griots Garage. They really do trap a lot of dirt, and they also stay kind of cleaner and drier longer. I bring along these are, again, Griots, but they make a pack of 50 of these, and they're little tiny towels. These are great for just about everything. I bring some cheap microfiber towels. These are the ones you can get at big box stores or at Costco or whatever, Sam's Club or whatever club you want to belong to. These things are great because if they get really dirty, who cares? But it's always good to have the cheapies around, so if something splashes up on the side of the car, you run over something, animal or whatever, and you want to clean up the side of your car, your friend vomits in the front seat, whatever it may be, this is the kind of stuff you want to have around to clean up with. All right, and finally, this is something that is kind of seems to go past everybody. So this is a black microfiber towel, no big deal, except what I find is on modern convertibles, you have a cloth top like on a new 911 or 3 Series or CLK, whatever. And you can actually clean that top with your detailer. Spray the top down, or actually what I do now is I'll take this. So let's say you're working on a navy blue top. So you spray your detailer in here and then just simply wipe it in straight lines on both directions. Front to back, side to side, and just do half of the top at a time, and then go to the other side. The reason you use this, though, on a black car or on a dark blue top is because it leaves black lint, and you'll never see it. So, a little tip of the day, nice thing that works really, really effectively. But it's surprising how something like those detailers can work on just about any surface, too. Nobody ever thinks about doing their top. But if you, just for something quick and easy, you're getting it ready for a cars and coffee, spray and wipe, and you'll be glad you did. What not to bring is kind of something, the next thing I guess we can touch on. So this is a pretty comprehensive collection. And again, this is probably more than what you would want to take in your car. But I've seen people bring things like buffers, pads. Recently, I was at an event where a client hired a detailer, and he brought a generator and a steam cleaner. Quick side note, which was really kind of funny. So we were judging at this event, and when that car was being judged, the judge noticed that it had white residue all over the engine compartment, which surprisingly was left by the steam cleaner that was being used on the show field to clean the engine compartment. So just be careful what you do and why you do it. Really, it's a matter of common sense. If you're that ill-prepared that you're steam cleaning your engine on the show field, you should turn around and probably go home at that point. You're not going anywhere. But don't overthink this stuff. It's all pretty, again, it's really common sense. And use the products that you're most comfortable with. If you're afraid to use, say, some of these dressings or even the glass cleaners, most of the detailers that are out there are pretty harmless and will clean just about everything. I've used them on interiors, I've used them on leathers, I've used them on carpet. Just about everything can be used with that. It's pretty amazing stuff. So with that, I think we can pretty much wrap it up.
Support brands that support classic motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.